Hi everyone and welcome to the Simple Knit podcast. My name is Elina and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Simple Knit Co. Welcome to my podcast. This is a video podcast all about knitting and any other crafty stuff that I'm getting up to, but it's usually just knitting. So thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to spend with me talking about all things knitting today. If this is your first time checking out the podcast, welcome. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. It's always a pleasure to see you. So this is probably going to be a bit of a baby podcast today. I don't have a lot of content. I haven't been doing a whole bunch of knitting in the last couple of weeks, but I did have a very exciting finished object that returning viewers will recognise that I did want to talk about. So I don't have a lot of time today. I think I have to leave to go out in like 20 minutes. So don't have a lot of time, don't have a lot of content, but hey, it's my YouTube channel and I can do whatever I want. So pour yourself a drink if you're so inclined. I've got a very nice coffee here in this very cute mug that I've had for a very long time. So sit back, relax, and let's talk some knitting. So eagle-eyed returning viewers will notice that I am wearing my finished object today. I've been working on this for the last couple of months and I'm just so stoked to have it done. It is the Ginsberg shrug by Nora Gorn for Brooklyn Tweed, and I knit it in Brooklyn Tweed Quarry in the Serpentine colourway, which is this really beautiful super dark bodily green that I really love. It has some really nice little variegate, like little specks of blues and yellows that just lift the colour a little bit so it's not just a big wall of darkness. And yeah, I really love it. It's probably definitely too hot to be wearing a big woolly shrug today here in Brisbane, Australia, where I'm coming to you from. But I just wanted to wear it to show you because I'm so excited that it's done. And yeah, I really love it. I'll just stand up. It's going to blow out the camera, so it is what it is, but this is how it fits. It's, I'll just turn around so you can see. It's nice and long at the back. It's kind of long enough that it covers my butt when I wear leggings, which is the ideal length for a cardigan, right? That's what we all want for a shrug style oversized cardigan, to be able to wear leggings and cover your butt. You don't have to cover your butt when you wear leggings, just wear whatever you want, but that's kind of a nice little measure. And I'm about 5'5", just for reference. I knit there's only two sizes in this pattern and I knit the smaller one, and as I said, I'm about 5'5", and I have about a around 40-inch bust circumference. So I think it's recommended, this size is recommended for up to a 42-inch bust, so I'm kind of one of the up to like the larger end of that size spectrum, and it's still like super nice and oversized on me. So if you are, I did say this in the last episode, but if you are a little petite lady or gentleman or whoever you identify as, you might want to either you could use a smaller weight yarn, so like use a worsted weight instead of a bulky weight, or you know, be creative to kind of make it a bit smaller, because it definitely is super oversized. So that is really wonderful and it's really cozy. The sleeves are a good length, they come just past my elbow, which is really nice. And yeah, so I did have to go down a needle size. I did on most of it on 6mm and then the ribbing on a 5mm, which I think is just one needle size down from what the pattern recommends. Yep, and it's the smaller size, and the only modification I made was when I picked up for the armholes here, so you kind of just seam up the side and then stop. I stopped a little bit short of where it recommended, so I picked up 4 extra stitches on each side of the armhole, because when I pinned it and tried it on, the armholes were fine, they were just like a perfect fit, and I wanted it something a little bit more loose and cozy. And with the amount that this yarn grew and bloomed when it blocked, I probably could have gotten away without doing that, but I did it anyway, and I'm super happy with how comfortable it is, because I don't feel like the armhole sleeve, it doesn't feel like restrictive or anything at all. So I'm really happy. That's the only modification I made, and I'm really happy with that. So yeah, it's really comfy, really cozy. It did grow a lot with blocking, like as these kind of yarns I want to do. So I liked the fit before I blocked it, but it's just amazing. It's like wearing a blanket, which is really lovely. So I'm really excited for it to get below 25 degrees Celsius so I can start wearing it. Please stop laughing if you're from an actually cold climate and you're like, that's hotter than it ever gets in summer here, but welcome to the tropics. I'm a little, and I'm always cold. I'm always cold, even though I live on the sun. I'm always cold. So I'm really happy to have this finished, and yeah. And I did make it, I didn't say this before, I made it as part of the Yarn & Co make along, which was a make along run by a yarn shop in Melbourne. So, and there's some people made some really, really beautiful projects. So if you check out the hashtag, there are some really great inspiration for cozy winter knits on that hashtag. So yes, that is my finished object, and I can't stop doing this because I feel like this kind of shows off the shape, and I feel like I'm just going to be doing this all the time when I wear it. So I need to stop and do something else with my hands. But yes, very happy. Highly recommend. It was a super beautifully written pattern, really easy to follow. The front and back section use the same charts, but different sections of the same chart. So there's just one chart. And to work on it, what I did actually, is that like pro tip. I printed out 2 copies of the chart because it has where each size needs to start and finish for the front and back. So I just printed out 2 copies and highlighted the edges of the section that I needed for the front and the back, just because I need all the help I can get. But it was a chart that was really easy to get the hang of, because you use the same chart for the front and the back. By the time I'd done the back, when I got to the front section, I didn't need to look at the chart that often because I knew basically what I had to do. So that meant it went even more quickly than you would expect for something like a cable charted pattern. It went really quickly because I didn't have to be staring at the chart all the time. And I really love the effect of the textured stitches and the cables. Yeah, it's really great. So yeah, I highly recommend it for like ease of use. It would be great, I think, a really great first cable project if you've never done cabling before, because there's only little cables every so often, and because it's with a nice bulky yarn, it's really easy to see what you're doing. And Brooklyn Tweed as well is nice sticky yarn, so it's really easy to do. You don't have to worry about dropping stitches while you're cabling or anything. So yeah, that is Elina reviews the Ginsberg. Love it. Make one. I want to see it. If you have made one, tell me so I can go and gush over yours as well. Oh, coffee break. I've only been working on one other project, and that is the shawl that I'm making as part of the Kanga Kiwi knit along that I've talked about the last couple of episodes. So if you're interested, go back and have a look. Saved it. So I'm making the beeswax shawl, which is a pattern by Amy van der Laar. She's used this kind of beeswax motif for a couple of patterns. There's a hat and a cowl, and I think maybe some little mittens or something. There's a whole bunch of patterns using this motif, but this shawl really spoke to me, so that is what I'm making. And I'm just over halfway. I've just finished. It's a diamond shaped shawl. Very good at shapes. Diamond shaped shawl, so I've just finished the increases and I've just started decreasing, so which is really fun, because it's like when you have decreases getting towards the end of the project, it's like running downhill, because every row, like every section, the rows are getting shorter and shorter. Unlike sometimes when you do like a big triangular shawl and the last few rows are like 7 years long, and then you have to bind off a billion stitches, which is still fine and beautiful, but sometimes can feel a bit intimidating. So I love shawls that kind of decrease towards the end, because then it's, yeah, like running downhill as you're finishing. But yes, as I said, beeswax shawl, Amy van der Laar, just over halfway done. So it's just a little bit too wide to have all the way out on the needle, but that's what I've got so far. It's going to grow beautifully with blocking. Hold it up closer so you can see the colour. Oh, that's good. The colour and the beautiful pattern. Oh, can you see that? Yeah, you can kind of see that. It's gorgeous. So the yarn I'm using is the same yarn that I used for my lady slipper top. I feel like I've said all this 500 times, but you may not have watched previous episodes, I can't assume. So yes, it is... Oh, I did drop that stitch. The yarn I used, the same yarn I used for my lady slipper top at the end of last year, which is hand-dyed yarn from Fibersmith in Melbourne. It's the alpaca linen silk blend and the colour's called Haystack, and it's really lovely. Because it's hand-dyed, I'm alternating skeins, and there is quite a lot of variance in the skeins, so definitely recommend alternating. I had stacks left over, so I had kind of overbought because I didn't know which pattern I was going to use which yarn for, so I had overbought yarn for that anyway, and I'm really glad because I feel like this colour suits this pattern really, really well. Yeah, and what can I say, it's a really nice intuitive, it's a really easy to follow lace, and the increases are done really nicely. I mean, there's nothing, once again, I think this would be a really good first lace project because it's really easy to follow. There's no really big, like you're not doing any super complicated stitches. Well, you never are with lace, but you know what I mean. It's written really nice and clearly. It has charts and written instructions. I prefer to do written instructions for lace and charts for cables, but that's just my personal preference. Yeah, and there was something else I was going to say. Oh, I remember now. Does anyone else ever have, when you're doing like a lace repeat style pattern, have a favourite row in the repeat that you get really excited when you get to your favourite row of the repeat? For this, during the increase rows, my favourite was row 9. If you've knit the beeswax shawl, what was your favourite row? Mine was row 9 because it all like sat together really nicely. And actually now I've started the decreases. I think they kind of go similar. So I think row 9 of the decrease rows is going to be my favourite as well. But yeah, it's a really, you get into a really nice rhythm with this pattern and you can kind of see what you're doing. And so by the second or third pattern repeat, you just kind of have to look at it at the start of the row and then just go, which is good for me because I'm usually, it's not that I doubt myself that, and I think I'm forgetting the pattern even when I'm not. So this pattern was really easy to follow. But yeah, is anyone else a giant weirdo and has favourite rows in pattern repeats and get really excited when they get to their favourite row? Comment down below or just tell me that I'm weird. But yeah, row 9 of the beeswax shawl is a really good row. So if that doesn't sell you on knitting this pattern, I don't know what will. The only other stat I can think to tell you is I'm knitting this on the recommended needle size, which is 4mm needles. I had a little more yarn than I needed, so I didn't swatch. Who swatches for shawls unless you're really short on yarn or like right up on the edge? Who swatches? But yeah, I'm really happy. And if anything, I'm a tight knitter, so by using the recommended needle size, if anything, it'll be slightly smaller. And this is a huge shawl. I didn't realize how big it was until I'd already started it, which is why you should probably read the pattern from start to finish before you start. But yeah, it's going to be really big and beautiful, and it's kind of, it's not going to be super woolly, but it's going to be quite fancy. I think it'll be a nice like going out shawl. But because it's got the alpaca in it, it'll still be really nice and warm, and the linen and silk give it a really beautiful drape. So yeah, really happy with that. Hopefully that will be finished soon because, as I said, I've started running downhill on that one. So yeah, that's all I've really been, that's all I've been working on the last couple of weeks. Yeah, did I have anything else I wanted to talk about? Oh, the only other thing I wanted to talk about is there's a couple of audio non-craft related podcasts that I've been listening to recently. I kind of go on and off with audio podcasts. I kind of get really obsessed and then lose interest. Like especially like longer form ones, I kind of just stop listening after a while. So ones that have been going for forever, like I don't listen to My Favorite Murder anymore. I was really into it and then not really anymore. And when do those Facebook groups really go somewhere? Wow. Like seriously, join your local My Favorite Murder fan group, even if you don't listen to the podcast. It's real something. And yeah, and like Case File, also really good. but kind of going off that a little bit. But there are a couple of new podcasts that I am straight up obsessed with and refreshing my app every day to see if the new episode has come out. Am I going to join their subscription service so I can get every episode at the start? Absolutely not. So the first one is called Over My Dead Body. It's by the same people that did like Dirty John and Dr. Death. Really good. And it's just, I'm not even going to say what it's about. It's, well, like a couple are in the process of finalizing a divorce and one of them gets murdered. And you don't know which one of them gets murdered until like the end of the second episode. And I was even so good that I didn't Google. So it was a nice fun surprise. And I was trying to guess. And did I guess right? Oh, yes, I did guess right. That's really good. Really, it's just absolute bananas. The other one that's absolutely bananas is Who the Hell is Hamish, which is an Australian podcast published by The Australian, which is the same newspaper that did Teacher's Pet, which really, that blew up as well. It's amazing. And yeah, it's just about a con artist, which is one of my favorite genres of crime, is the con artist, because just like to be that confident to be able to con people, I can't believe it. And it's also that little bit of, I'm so glad it didn't happen to me, because, you know, think of how much trust we put in so many different strangers. We're all one step away from being conned. So Who the Hell is Hamish? Really, really good. And what's the other one? The other one is another Australian one. It's the new season of Unravel, which is, I think it's called Last Seen Katoomba or something. But it's season 3 of Unravel, and it's about the disappearance and definite murder of a young woman in regional New South Wales, regional Australia. I was going to say regional Queensland. It wasn't in Queensland. And that's really interesting as well, mainly because they have a lot of audio from the coronial inquest into her disappearance, which is one of those things I really feel like you shouldn't be listening to. It's like in Over My Dead Body, they have like phone conversations from an FBI wiretap. I'm like, should I be listening to this? I feel like I shouldn't. It's like when videos come up online and they have the body cam footage from a police officer from entering a crime scene. I'm like, I really feel like that shouldn't be public knowledge. But yeah, it feels weird. It's one of those things that feels weird when it has like private conversations, even if they've been wiretapped. I feel like I shouldn't be listening to that. Yeah. What kind of podcasts do you like to listen to other than crafty ones? Let me know down below. So that's about all I have to talk about this week. As I said, light on content, heavy on too much caffeine. But thank you so much for taking some time to watch today. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, please feel free to leave them down below or hit me up on Instagram or Ravelry. I'm always happy to have a chat. I hope you're all well. Take care, and I will see you in another couple of weeks for some more crafty escapades. See you later. Bye.